on the Sacramento Kings grades for the first half, the first 2/3, I know, of the season. All right, Kyle, for those that are just now joining us, we are going to go through our grades and just quickly recap why we gave them these grades, and then we will end with our Kings grade as a whole. So I gave Domantas Sabonis a 94, a solid A. Obviously, he is ridiculous on the boards. He is ridiculous as far as his motor is concerned. Yeah, he could be better on defense. Yeah, he could be better on the turnover situation, but he's just a guy that you don't have to worry about night in, night out. And if it wasn't for Nikola Jokic, he would be talked about a heck of a lot more. So I'm giving him a solid A.
I went with A+ for Domantas Sabonis. He is having the best season of his career, and as I outlined yesterday, he's having the best season of his career and also probably won't make All-NBA as it stands right now just because of Wemby having the Defensive Player of the Year locked up and Karl Anthony Towns having a career season.
Next up, Demar DeRozan. I gave Demar DeRozan a B. Look, I think that the fit was always kind of questionable. It's really hard. The theme here with these grades is trying to be objective, but obviously these dudes have been through a lot of changes. Some of it on them because they didn't win games early, but you lose your coach, you lose De'Aaron Fox, some new guys coming to the fold. I think DeMar DeRozan hasn't been perfect, which is why I didn't give him an A, but I also don't know that DeMar DeRozan came to Sacramento at 35 years old to do what he's had to do and to carry the load that he's had to carry, and that's what he's doing right now. So I could be talking to a B+, but I'm going to stick with the solid B.
I went A- for DeMar DeRozan. His offense has been above and beyond my expectations this year, and now he's in the weird space of being asked to be the true number one option on this team. So give me that A- for DeMar DeRozan.
And the threes, I saw a stat rolling around just as far as his three-point shooting. I think post De'Aaron Fox has been really good. Everybody is stepping up. So, that's just what you have to do, and they'll figure it out in the offseason. Keon Ellis, quick one for me, A.
Yeah, A. Yeah. Above and beyond expectations. As we said before, the Found Money Award winner.
That's right. Every single season, or specifically this season. Keegan Murray, this is where you and I differed. Keegan Murray gets a B- for me. I know what he does defensively, and some of it, again, trying to be objective, some of it isn't his fault. You add in a DeMar DeRozan, you had the De'Aaron Fox stuff going on, you had Malik Monk heading into the starting lineup. Where is Keegan supposed to find his way offensively? I get all that, but he did have more opportunities early before Malik was in the starting lineup. I know he guards the best player, the best guard or wing every single night. Sometimes Keon does it, but it was just hard for me to move away from that minus. So I gave Keegan a strong B-, if you will.
Yeah, 84.
That's right.
Something like that. Keegan got an A- for me because Keegan Murray since January is shooting 47% from the field and 37% from three. And I know that we can hold the start of the season against him, but if I told you that for the entire season, Keegan Murray was going to be shooting 47% from the field, 37.8% from the three-point line, is going to be guarding everybody's best defender, and is going to be averaging basically double-figure scoring and career high in rebounding, most people would say he's taken a quote-unquote leap. Yeah. So I think the Keegan we've seen in January and February has been A to A+ worthy, but then you factor in everything that happened at the start of the season where he was shooting below 30% from three. Keegan Murray put it all together. He walks away with an A- for me.
What's up, Vancouver?
Malik Monk, I gave Malik it went from a B+ to an A. I gave him a B+, but it was very, very close to an A-. It was 89.9999, and he came in and did some extra credit to maybe get it to an A-. But Malik hasn't been perfect. Again, a guy who his role has changed about 3 times here in one season, and that's not something that happens very often.
Yeah, I went B+ for Malik, and the main point that I made is the Sacramento Kings have not put Malik Monk in a position to succeed. Mm-hmm. there's issues with he's shooting below 40% from the field, shooting below 30% since taking over in the starting lineup. His assists have actually gone down since taking over as the starting point guard. So there's question marks. I just think this is the deal you made when you blew up the entire team at the start of the season, is you're going to have to give Malik some room to grow. He's done a lot of things really well. A lot of people mentioned he should get an A because he's the heart of the team.
That's right.
No matter what grades we give him, or poor assist numbers or poor shooting numbers he might have game to game, he will always and forever be.
I'm a pizza guy.
That's right. Trey Lyles, I went with the C. You know, it kind of leads into the front office. He's a guy who a couple of years ago, Beam Team, similar numbers. We did a deep dive yesterday. I think the reality is they were hoping that there would be some sort of leap, and there wasn't. He's not a 6th, 7th guy off the bench. He's more of an 8, 9 guy off the bench. So as a 6, 7 guy off the bench, which he kind of was before Jake LaRavia and the big move happened with De'Aaron Fox, because of that, I'm giving him a C. I know he does some of the dirty work, but that 3-point shot just has not come back at all.
Yeah, I went with a B because, I mean, I didn't mention this yesterday. He basically played himself back onto the team, right?
Yeah.
They had a trade for John Collins in place, and he basically played himself back onto the team over these last few weeks. Of course, there were injuries at the start of the season, and as Malik Monk told us,
he lost a lot of pounds. He was fat.
Next, the coaching staff. This got a little bit dicey, but I gave Doug an A. Mike Brown got some version of a C minus, D plus, something like that. So Doug gets an A for me. Mike Brown on the way out got a C minus, D plus, and I end with about a B minus for the coaching staff. Don't ask me if that math checks out or not, but I ended with about a B minus for the coaching staff.
Yeah, for Doug, I'm kind of in that like B plus, A minus territory right now. I can be talked either way. I'm not like holding down saying Doug deserves a B. It's fine. He's basically at 90%. Like Malik, has not been put in a position to succeed, but has done incredibly well given the circumstances. And I just said, like, if you're the only team that's fired their head coach thus far in the season, at some point you gotta look at that as a failure, or at least not passable. So put it all together, I gave it like a C minus for the coaching staff. I think our gap though was who really is responsible for Mike's firing. I think that was kind of a differential there.
Front office, they get a C minus for me. Anything good that they did was kind of a result of some of the mess ups that they had. So because of that, I don't know how much kudos to give them. So C minus for me.
I went with a D plus with the opportunity to get back to a C based on how old Zach LaVine does the rest of the way. But yeah, the unprofessional way in which Mike Brown was fired, the decision to fire Mike Brown itself, I still believe was premature. Their decision to shop De'Aaron Fox, have that become public, trade De'Aaron Fox for 70 cents on the dollar for what he was worth, and then now you look at it and we've got this weird interim Beam team that doesn't quite fit exactly like a puzzle, but it might work out based on how well Zach LaVine does. So D plus so far, with the possibility to go up as time goes on, but they are certainly on the chopping block.
And overall, the team as a whole, all things considered, all things included, they're C. That's it.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I land on a C. If you put all three categories together, I have the players at an A minus, I've got the coaches somewhere in the C, and I've got the front office in the D plus range. So if you put all that together, I'd call it a C plus. They're passing right now. If they get into the play-in, they've got 2 games or 1 game to decide their season.
Yeah.
And honestly, with De'Aaron Fox, without De'Aaron Fox, with Mike Brown, without Mike Brown, they might have ended up in the same spot.
Probably. Now, I do disagree on your breakdown, but we got to the same place. So we've done this enough. Thank you for listening to our grades, and we'll read some of your grades that you have coming in. On the other side, I ran into 2 on our favorite B-ball index. I ran into 2 very, very interesting shot statistics. Okay. There are 2 Kings on both of them. All right. Now, one is pretty negative. One is positive. How do the Kings balance both to get to the playoffs? I'll explain on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
On the move. Got some